Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Liana Kavanda and I work with Stanbic Global Markets. And I have a privilege of hosting the Chief Executive of Abi Finance, Mrs. Mona Muguma Ssebuliba.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Liana.
Good morning. So, Mona, what was your key highlight from the symposium?
First of all, it emphasized that we're still dealing with a VUCA world, very volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And it is going to require a lot of partnerships. So very grateful for this kind of partnership with Stanbic that brings home some insights and some advice and critical guidance to help us be agile and resilient and responsive to such a world. There is no one clear-cut answer, that's for sure. But with partnership and dialogue of this nature, it helps one reframe their strategy. Some things you keep doing, some things you discard. But for me, the realization that VUCA is almost now the new normal. So that for me sat with me. Also, different actors, different roles to play. The public sector, the private sector, we really separately and together have a role to play. And it's going to take concerted effort, both in partnership, but in also understanding what our roles are and how best to play them.
All right, so what I pick is VUCA, partnerships,
yes,
and our roles that we have to play.
Exactly.
Okay, and then with all this disruption in aid, donor funding, what does this mean to the agriculture sector? What should they be worried about?
First of all, attitudinally, as even the panelists were saying, we need to take charge of our own economy, of our own fate, and at some point, reliance on donor support, development partner support is good, but not sustainable. We need to look at ourselves in terms of our self-reliance and our own resilience. So that's one key thing, a mindset shift, almost that this trend of dwindling development partner or donor support is going to continue. So in face of that, in light of that, how do we respond appropriately? So it's about using our own resources, growing them and allocating them for our own long-term sustainability. So development partner support is welcome, but I think we need to think more commercially, think of them as investors, think of inviting them as equity investors, for instance, or debt investors, and not traditional grant money. And even locally, how are we mobilizing our own capital to invest in our own sector? And as I've said, for a more sustainable outlook, it would be along commercial terms, whether equity or debt. So players like Stanbic become very relevant in mobilizing that capital. So the issue is around cutting the mindset of dependence on grant type support and thinking more commercially, and that capital can be mobilized both locally and externally, but taking on a more commercial mindset.
Okay. Yeah. So what I pick from you is more or less independence.
Yes.
We shouldn't be so dependent on the aid.
Yes.
Yes. So we should now think commercially. Try to raise our own funds other than rely on the donor funds and the aid.
Perfect.
Given the disruptions.
Yeah. So that's where I see Stanbic playing a role, helping the local economy mobilize its own resources. And especially Uganda being our home and driving her growth, that is how to help local actors mobilize resources locally and internationally. The other thing I also like about what Stanbic is doing is that there's a focus on human capital, education, in which we play strongly, maternal health or health of the population. I know we play strongly there. So as a partner of Stanbic, and then we on the agriculture side, generally just ensuring that where the bulk of Uganda's population is employed in agriculture, how are we developing that human capital and also mobilizing resources in that sector.
All right. Thank you so much, Mona, and thank you for your insights. It's already a pleasure to host you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.